Hello everybody, thank you so much for watching Where It Was Sim again. Hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's video, we got another threat of severe weather to talk about, and we even got some active changes to talk about as well. So we'll definitely have to be keeping our eye on these storm systems too as well. But first of all, we're going to go ahead and start off with the threat of severe weather that's across Wilmington, North Carolina, getting down into Charleston, South Carolina. So if you guys do live in both of these cities, I would be extremely aware of some possible tornadoes today. 'Cause we actually do have a tornado threat, but other areas included in the site risk include places like North Charleston, getting into Jacksonville, North Carolina, and then Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. So all those areas are 100% included in the site risk, but even around that, all the way down towards Miami, we got that marginal risk, okay? So make sure to be aware of that. And like I said, we do have a tornado threat in play for today, and that does include Wilmington and as well as Charleston. So if you guys do live in those areas, I would be extremely aware. I would even be weather aware too as well. So make sure you do have your action plan in place again for today. But even down here into places like Miami, up towards like almost Orlando, but even includes Fort Lauderdale, some of those lingering storms could definitely produce some possible water spouts across these areas. So that's exactly why this tornado threat is in play down here to the south. But up here will be the main area to watch for too. But the wind threat does make the most sense for today, and it sounds like it's even the most widespread too as well. So it includes places like Miami, up towards places like Virginia Beach, even Jacksonville, Florida, even Norfolk, Virginia. So all those areas included in this marginal risk for severe storms will definitely have to be aware. Now, I was kind of surprised about this, but we don't usually see severe storms during the winter up here to the north, guys. To be honest, it's kind of rare to see severe storms way up here to the north. The places that really see severe storms during the winter mainly stay down here to the south, okay? So up here, seeing severe weather is kind of rare for this time of year. So I would definitely be aware if you live in New York, New Jersey City, Newark. Oh yeah, I think it's Newark, New Jersey, or even Providence, Rhode Island. Getting into Yonkers, New York. So I think I said most of those cities right. But if you do live in this area, I would definitely be aware and make sure to be on high alert. But it sounds like the main threat will just be damaging winds, which is definitely indicates like a smaller threat of severe weather, because that's literally the only hazard there. So thankfully it is a little bit easy, at least seeing a severe weather threat in a long time. At least it's staying easy on you guys, but still be aware of some like lingering damaging winds across these areas. So I would definitely be on high alert. Now I wanted to show you guys that up in Florida we actually are seeing some power outages in Florida, and this is looking pretty concerning, to be honest. And if we click on Florida, up here in northern Florida, at least the panhandle of Florida, is seeing a lot of power outages, and that includes Taylor County, getting into Dixie County, and even a few other counties, even Madison, even Hamilton County. So all those counties in Florida are included in these power outages. And if you're asking how much of the county is out with power, well, down here you can probably see that blue indicates almost zero, but sometimes indicates a lot more. But yeah, so I would definitely be staying aware up here if you do live up to the north. But it sounds like these counties up here in the orange are almost like 30% without power. So sounds like about 30% out of 100 people in this county are without power, so you won't see everyone without power in this counties, but quite a bit of them are without power for sure. So that's kind of how it works when you look at the US power outages. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the radar now. We're going to take this all the way back and we're going to go ahead and show you guys these storms. And we do have this storm down here to still worry about that may produce some flash flooding, and it literally continues up the east coast, just continues staying strong, and it looks like it may even be pretty extreme at times. And what I mean by that is it will produce very heavy rain, and even like in South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Pennsylvania, pretty much near Philadelphia, up here into New England, it's definitely looking like it could produce some flash flooding. And on the backside of that storm, we could actually see a small snowstorm in play, and it sounds like we'll only get about an inch of snow if we really see a snowstorm, because look, it just doesn't show very heavy snow, and it doesn't even show it lasting forever. But as we do continue to take this forward, we'll see rounds of storms coming off of California that could definitely bring some risk for severe storms. I'm not really sure if all of these rounds of storms will be severe. This one may just be rain and heavy rain, but this one back here out in the Midwest, this one could definitely be producing like another rainy event across these areas. But just look at this one, the one that came off of California. Like I said, that one's just going to continue heading eastward, and it's going to continue strengthening into this storm right here. And it even looks like the storm that came off of California does seem to be a lot faster. That could definitely bring a threat for severe weather, but it looks like it will mostly be down here to the south. We can't roll them out for places like Oklahoma, Texas, maybe even Missouri, but it sounds like these storms will die off as they do head into places like Illinois. But even down here into Dixie Alley, we're still seeing those storms continue. But as we continue to take this forward, that storm will finally head out. It could become a nor'easter, to be honest, because it actually is affecting the east coast pretty good. But even another wave of showers and maybe a few rumbles of thunder could be possible as we keep heading forward. And I'm going to go ahead and stop there, but if you probably see, we even got a major storm that even could come at the end of this, but that's extremely far out, guys, so I'm probably just going to be like, nah, that's probably not going to be something to worry about, which is kind of true, because if you guys remember in the last video or the video before, it was showing that freezing rain event occurring across the Ohio Valley, but now it's not showing that anymore. So like I said, things like that are shown on the GFS model don't seem to be right, at least not very often. So I would definitely watch the earliest storms, or the latest storms, I would definitely watch the latest storms or even the earliest storms that come in. So I would still watch that storm system at the end of the radar, even though it's very far out. I would definitely still watch it because it could definitely happen. But I would at least keep an eye on the earliest storms that occur, and the reason why is because those ones are like only at the beginning of it. So those are definitely storms to worry about more compared. Now, if we look at the climate prediction center outlook, we are seeing above average continuing for much of the United States, and it even includes all of Illinois. Now, it has even shifted farther down south too as well, so that definitely is kind of concerning, but it still includes places like the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, all of Illinois, Wisconsin, getting into places like Nebraska, Kansas, northern Arkansas, northeast Oklahoma, getting into western Indiana, western Michigan, and even including the UP of Michigan. So all those areas included in well above average temperatures still. But if we look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, same story, but less widespread with the well above average. It sounds like places like eastern North Dakota, gain into northern Minnesota, will have the best chance for seeing above average temperatures on the 8 to 14 day outlook. But even down here, places like Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio still have a pretty good chance of seeing above average temperatures. Now, if we look at the precipitation outlook, and just remember, guys, warmer temperatures kind of make it easier for precipitation to occur, and that's the reason why we're seeing that above average precipitation extend into places like Illinois, Indiana, and even up here into southern southern Minnesota and even southern Wisconsin. So that's the reason why we see that precipitation extend farther east, is because of that well above average temperatures occurring. But even back here out west, we actually are seeing well above average precipitation across places like Arizona, New Mexico, and even much of Texas, getting into western Oklahoma and even portions of Kansas, maybe even southeast Colorado too as well. So lots of areas are really seeing above average precipitation, at least during the 6 to 10 day outlook. So I would definitely be aware, guys. I would definitely be aware of this. But even on the East Coast, at least up here in New England, getting into places like Montana, getting into northern Wyoming, getting into places like North Dakota, and even like Idaho too as well. Those areas are kind of seeing a below average precipitation. Below average precipitation is what they are seeing. But yeah, we're definitely going to have to watch closely. But if we look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, not as well above, but still slightly above for places like Arizona and New Mexico. But out here on the west coast, their chances for above average precipitation does get more widespread. But even back here in the places like the southern United States, as far west as New Mexico, we could definitely be talking some pretty good above average precipitation. But even down here into southern Texas, also seeing a good chance for above average precipitation. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the excessive rainfall outlook. We're on the East Coast, heading from pretty much, Springfield, Massachusetts, all the way down into places like South Carolina. We're seeing a chance for flash flooding today. It even includes New York, Philadelphia, Dover, Delaware, getting down into places like Virginia Beach, all the way down in the Wilmington. Even includes the Raleigh area of North Carolina. So those areas have to be on high alert for some flash flooding. Even areas north and south of those cities also have to be aware too as well. So I would definitely be on high alert. But if we look at day 2, the chance for excessive rainfall is up here to the north across places like Maine, getting into New Hampshire, and even northern Massachusetts. This is going to be for tomorrow, which is going to be for Monday into Tuesday. But even back here in the California, definitely seeing an increased chance for flash flooding. Now, if we look at day 3, we just have a marginal risk pretty much in California. So that's really it. Now, as we do take a look at the National Weather Service hazards, we actually do have some wind advisories in effect for places like the east coast of Florida, getting into the panhandle of Florida, up into Georgia, but even up here into places like western Virginia, getting into eastern or western North Carolina. Those areas seeing some wind advisories in effect. Sounds like we could have a wind advisories in effect for places like eastern North Carolina, because we actually do have a small one right there. I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but it's a very small wind advisory in effect right there. There could be like 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts going off the coast, but I don't think they're that high. They're probably like 50 miles per hour, if that makes a little bit more sense. But even a isolated wind advisory in effect for places like northern Indiana, and then we even got some pretty good wind advisories in effect effect for places like South Dakota, even Oregon and Northern California. And pretty much the entire coast is included in a flood watch, but we even got some high wind watches and even some high wind warnings in effect for places like Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and even Connecticut. Even Long Island included in some high wind watches and maybe even a high wind warning. But we're definitely going to have to watch those areas very closely. Now, as we do take a look at our temperatures, or I mean our precipitation, we actually are seeing a good chance for precipitation across the East Coast. So this heads from Maine all the way down into the Panhandle of Florida. We're seeing about an inch or two of rain. Some areas like Delaware gain into New Jersey, an isolated spot in New York, and then even North Carolina and South Carolina could be getting as high as 6 inches in some areas. But even up here into places like New Hampshire and Maine could even see over 4 inches of rain too as well. So we're definitely going to have to watch those areas closely. But all of California is seeing rain. Most areas seem to be seeing at least 2 inches of rain or more. So that will be at least for most of the areas in California. But even back here in the places like Oklahoma, Arkansas, and even northern Texas near the Dallas-Fort Worth area, seeing about 2 inches of rain. So we're definitely going to have to watch those areas closely. Now, as we do take a look at the total snowfall, we actually are seeing quite a bit of snowfall for places like the California mountains, getting into Cascade Mountains, but even back here in the places like New England, getting down into the Appalachian Mountains in West Virginia, and pretty much the entire area of Ohio, pretty much seeing about an inch of snow or less. It sounds like areas in northeast northeast Ohio, seeing about 4 inches of snow. As you can probably see, some of those areas up to 5 possibly, especially near the Cleveland area, but even about an inch of snow is occurring in Indiana. Now, if we look at those travel impacts, it sounds like West Virginia seeing anywhere from minor to a possible small major impact. I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but it's very tiny and my mouse is pointing at it right now. But even up here into northern northern Indiana, getting into places like western Michigan, seeing some possible moderate impacts, and then even up here in the California mountains, wow, some major impacts. So definitely pretty impact across these areas. So definitely some pretty big impacts. Okay, so pretty big impacts even across Colorado and even New Mexico, at least seeing some moderate impacts. But if we look at our temperature anomalies, we're going to go ahead and take this forward, and as you guys can probably see for today, we do stay warm in the 50s. Then as we continue to take this forward, we'll start to cool down pretty good, and we'll start to see a big cold front come through, bringing our temperatures near the teens or at least in the lower 20s. But as we continue to take that forward, that cool down will continue for another day. But then this warm front tries to go through, and it tries to push that cold air, it bringing in some 50s and even some 60s to quite a bit of these areas. We continue to see well above average temperatures for quite a bit of the United States. But then that warm front kind of does head out, which probably brings another threat for some colder air, and we're already at the end of it. But thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy my video. I am going to let you guys know that later today I might do a forecast saying who will see a white Christmas this year. Something like that. So if you guys want to watch that video later today, you guys can click that notification bell down below where that subscribe button is. So if you guys haven't clicked that notification bell already, make sure to do click that notification bell so you're notified whenever I do my videos or even my live stream. So make sure to click that notification bell so you are live whenever I am doing a video, or you're notified. I mean, that's what I should have said. When you're notified, make sure you are watching my videos. But thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure to click that subscribe button down below. Also make sure to like my videos too as well, so make sure to do all that, and I will also do one tomorrow.